I easily determined that some of my critics on YouTube are insufficiently lacking the intelligence to debate me on issues involving race, gender, sexuality, religion, nationality, and even economic standings. Every day I go on YouTube to check the comments from some of my supporters and some of my critics. And usually when my critics write their comments on YouTube pages, it seems like it's just a hodgepodge of commentary with a mixture of opinion and emotion. From the white supremacists to the conservative, libertarian, and even liberal commentators, are determined that some of our commentators are lacking the intelligence to debate me on issues. So, in regards to this, I say again, our society is totally stupid when it comes to issues like this. Our society is totally stupid when it comes to dealing with people like me because every day I wake up, I put my shirt on, I put my pants on, and I go back to doing the same thing over and over again. I go to work, I go home. But every time I turn on the news, there's someone getting all upset over a certain issue. There's someone who's driving a wedge issue between Americans, whether they're black or white, whether they're Christian or Islamic or even Catholic or Jewish, whether they're of any religion, faith. It's like this society is just ginned up over petty things because of our economy, unemployment, and the power of President Barack Obama. Right now, his job approval ratings are in the low 40s. His disapproval is just above 50%. The Republican Party smells blood in the water. When President Obama stood forth and supported the right for these people to build their Islamic Cultural Center in New York, close to the New York Ground Zero, this set off a firestorm. 7 out of 10 people disapprove of the president's handling of this local matter. Michael Bloomberg, as well as many people in the borough of Manhattan, support this idea of building an Islamic Cultural Center near the World Trade Center site. Now, it's just a few blocks, but to many people who are conservative or Republican or even some of the Democrats, it's a political issue. The Senate Majority Leader, Harry Reid, has spoken out against the building of this center, and many Republicans from Sarah Palin to Newt Gingrich and even conservative talk radio are voicing their anger towards President Obama because this gives them the momentum to say that President Obama is soft on terrorism. He's not doing anything to sympathize with the victims of 9/11. It's been over 9 years since our country came to grips with terrorism on a high magnitude scale. President George W. Bush had led with 90% job approval ratings because of his take action immediately stance, where we went into Afghanistan and we flushed some of the Al Qaeda leaders out. But unfortunately, we made the huge blunder of letting the chief mastermind, Osama bin Laden, go into areas unknown. That, along with Ayman al-Zawahiri and the American Adam Gaddan, we are now facing a gnat. A gnat, you know those little bugs that fly around? Gnat. Terrorism is going to continue to be a problem in America, whether it's domestic terrorism or international terrorism. It's still an issue that is never going to go away. But our society is fearful of Islam. I said it again, and I'm going to continue to say this again. Islam is not the problem. Terrorism is. Why can't millions of Americans understand that? I look at myself and think to myself, why can't we all just get along? But to the Republican Party and the allies in the conservative media, any bad move is a good game for them. The Democratic Party right now has control of the House, control of the Senate, as well as the White House, and many governorships. My current governor, Ted Strickland, is a Democrat. He's facing former Fox News host John Kasich. John Kasich is slightly pulling ahead of Governor Ted Strickland. With the power of the Tea Party movement, as well as conservative allies from talk radio, Fox, as well as CNN also, you get this momentum of Republican outrage that's going to be channeled into the midterm elections. Conservatives are more interested in voting than the liberal Democrat moderates. And millions of African Americans, first-time voters, will not vote until 2012 when President Obama's on the ballot. So you can't get them to get up and just go out and vote again. So the Republicans, they seem like they're going to have the edge. And of course, with this being said, that the Republicans also don't have a strategy to help with the economy, the unemployment crisis, the war in Afghanistan, the ending war in Iraq, and million of other issues that divide our country up, from illegal immigration to gay rights to even the society, from religion, separation of church and state. We're still going into this issue by issue wedge. And I know that there's millions of people who disagree with the message. That's fine. But don't come around here saying that I'm someone that is liberal or moderate or whatever. I mean, I'm just a human being that's expressing his opinion. I despise some of the actions of conservatives because, again, I said this as an opinion. This doesn't apply to you if you're not like this, but I think that most conservatives, not all conservatives, harbor bigoted views towards someone's race, gender, sexuality, nationality, religion, and possibly economic standings. It's not just my opinion, but this goes to 1,000 others who believe the same thing I say. We got to get past this divide and conquer strategy. I'm willing to work with anyone who's willing to work with me. I mean, you don't have to agree with what I say, but you got to understand that we are human beings before anything else. It's not about who's American, who's not American. It's about the principles of our freedom as Americans to speak our minds and not be fearful of repercussions. Just like with this gentleman who is the imam, he's now fearing for his life since talk radio brought his name up. The judge that overturned some of the controversial issues with the Arizona immigration law, or the judge who had just overturned the gay ban in California. These people are now fearing for their lives because once you mention their names on television, the death threats start coming. President Obama, members of Congress, federal judges, as well as people in the media get death threats every day because of our one-sided thoughts. I don't go around sending death threats to someone I don't like. And I don't go around here getting upset over petty things. If it's not putting any food on my plate, keeping these lights on, or keeping my apartment or house in check, I'm not worried about it. I wish you could understand where I'm coming from, but if you don't understand where I'm coming from, that's your opinion, that's your choice, that's your life.